Hello, my friends. Again, let me say welcome to another episode of John's Sports Corner on the Socialbone Media Network, broadcast through socialfattv.com on the YouTube channel. John, again, let me thank you for taking the time to bring together news as it relates to sports in our community in a manner that those who cannot hear too well can actually see you while you're talking. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you so much, Trevor. And once again, folks, a very good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be, good morning. And again, to my friends and family tuned in, welcome to John Sports Corner on the Sosa Bone Media Network. Before we speak with our special guests this afternoon, Mr. Shawn Falconer, who is director of New York Next Gen Events Corporation, and a fellow, should I call him a scribe of mine, Aubrey Campbell, who has joined us this afternoon. Let me invite you into the Winner Circle radio store in the Social Bone shop again and shop as till you drop. There are t-shirts, mugs, backpacks, of course, sorrel, and the Great Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee. Get a couple packets of that coffee and light up your house with the aroma. Let's go into the meat and the sauce bone of this afternoon's sports update as we welcome Mr. Shawn Falconer to our network and Mr. Aubrey Campbell. Shawn, welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for having me on this beautiful sports program. Really, I'm happy here. I'm happy to be on this live feed. And I hope that you guys are doing well yourself today.
You're trying to do well. And Aubrey, I haven't spoken a lot since you have, since it got a little cold and like ducks you flew south.
Yeah. John, it's a pleasure to reconnect with you on this platform, to shed some light on an event that we're hoping will give the New York sports landscape a little more buzz. But first and foremost, thank you and thanks to Trevor for having us on, and we look forward to an engaging conversation in the minutes ahead.
Let's talk track and field as what this is all about this afternoon with the New York Next Gen Relay Carnival, if you might want to call it that. And Shawn, what made you decide New York needs a high school track and field meet?
Well, as we are Jamaican island people, love to dream big. So I was by the Memorial Stadium last year at an event, and I met the manager, and I said to him, listen, is it possible I can get this stadium to rent to put on a relay meet? And he said, sure. And he said that he gave me the support. So I went out, did my research, diligent research, and decided that I would try to put on this event at the right time. So when I look at the timing, I was saying the best time to have it was the week before the big showdown in the city of Brotherly Love, which is Penn Relay. So therefore, from that, I went ahead and the managers are still gave me the go ahead, and then I brought in Aubrey and other members to be a part of this new inaugural event. And so far, I must say, the buzz, the real buzz, and the moral support has been tremendous. For me personally, it's a little overwhelming, but I'm trying to keep my composure and make sure we execute this new event.
Difficult is it to plan and organize an event like this meet?
Well, the difficulty is first and foremost is bringing the right people to the table. And I want to, and one of the persons that brought it there, the first person when I brought it there was Aubrey Campbell, which right now is on the program, and he brings a lot of different expertise because he has his own meet in Jamaica, the comment relays, and so I brought on a local marketing director. I brought on somebody who has some legal advice. I brought on someone who has some finance, and all of these persons that I brought onto the table have brought their expertise. And trust me, John and company, they have bring it to another level, and I must be grateful for that.
Apart from certified officials, what else is required to put on a meet like this?
Well, if something else is what required to put on a meet, it's all about logistics, 1, 2, 3, making sure that what we included this year is the first time we're bringing up schools from Jamaica to be a part of it. So all of it includes transportations, accommodations, and meals, making sure concessions, concessionaires are in place. Looking at also advertisers to come on board. So it's a lot of moving parts, to be honest, John. And so far, the team, I must say, the team has put in the work, and we're putting things together. And one last thing is all about the registration, making sure we get the local schools involved right here and bringing Jamaicans. So it's a lot of moving parts, but I must say the team has stuck together and we keep it positive and hopefully we execute this event.
Good.
I suppose security has to be part of the planning.
Yes, sir. Security is number one priority. Security is always there because we have to make sure the place is secure. Security is a part of it. But that is taken care of through a contract with the stadium already. So everything is in place. It's just now to make sure we put the moving pieces together on the event or before the event to make sure everyone knows their roles and all that. Aubrey can extend on, he's the beat director, so he can extend on his part, bringing the officials to the event, which is high standard. Because you know, I don't want to show no words. Last weekend in Jamaica, there was the school championship, and there were some, some glitches, I should say, in terms of disqualification out of high school teams. And I told her, I don't want that situation here to happen. We must make sure we cross our T's, dot our I's in terms of officials and make sure security is in place, make sure the kids at the hotels are taken care of. And all. So we are doing some diligent work. I mean, diligent. And for me, as a chairman, you know, I have to be a little stickler at times. You know, Barry, you have to stickler to make sure this is done, that is done properly.
Does the meet have to be registered or certified by USA Track and Field or World Athletics?
Well, the meet has to be certified, it has to be registered. So we are using this company named athletic.net, and they're responsible for registering our meet and put it on the calendar with USA Track organization and other they could say get out accreditation for the meet. So this is our first meet. They're doing their legwork in terms of making sure this meet is registered and become a part of the calendar going forward to USA and other accreditations.
Now, in Jamaica recently, the stadium track was resurfaced. And one of the big discussions was if the track meets World Athletic standards, so that if an athlete or school runs a record, it will be recognized or ratified by World Athletics. Does the track up there meet World Athletic standards?
No, the track up there only meets the level of high school. But it meets it doesn't meet the IAS standard, but it meets standard for high school. Because when I spoke to the directors over there, they're saying they're off by a couple of inches based on the circumstances of the field and all that. So they say that will take time to get expansion, but it is well certified. And the time for high school, let me make it clear, the time for high school will be recognized. So if a kid run 10.55 or 9.99, it would be better because it's certified up to high school level.
Mm.
Okay.
So that's
I
why
mean,
we don't have no colleges or any adults running on that because of the certification level it's at right now, which is only at the high school level.
okay. So, but a meet like this, Shawn,
Hmm.
particularly as an inaugural meet,
Yes, sir.
requires major sponsorship.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have that in place? And if you want, you may mention them.
Well, at this time, we have not got no major sponsorship, and I will explain to you why. We started our planning late because, when you're doing your due diligence, we have seek sponsorship, but the team is ready to take up the mantle to do the first year, and we have received positive feedback that next year, hopefully, we attract more sponsorship. So we get some minor sponsorship, no major sponsorship. We got sponsorship for VIP era, and we got sponsorship for corporations and all that, but no major, no title sponsor, as they would say, to take the mantle this year.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned my good buddy Aubrey Campbell a few times, but Aubrey, what role do you play now with the putting on this event?
Thank you, John. And again, yeah, my role with the New York Next Gen Corporation will be for this particular event, meet director, meaning I will be more or less overseeing the overall execution of the event on April 19 at the Memorial Stadium in Mount Vernon. What that means is that I'll be coordinating the on the field team along with the support structures and entities to make sure that athletes warm up well, get marshaled, get checked in, come onto the field, uh, participate, run the race, go back off into the area, and so that we have that kind of a coordinated flow between all parties involved. We are blessed in year one to have the support from the stadium management. And when you consider, John, that this is for us, for next gen, our first going, as Principal Shawn noted.
Mm-hmm.
What is good is that we're getting tremendous support from the stadium management because they do these events on a regular basis. And,
Mhm.
Okay.
and so they are affording us to network into their team that executes these events on a regular
Mm-hmm.
basis. And
Mm.
when you look at the quality, I think on the team that they're a lot affording us to use, there are two Hall of Fame meet directors, meet managers that are working with us, timekeepers, track judges, and because it's a primary relay event, we have it properly coordinated, and so we're looking for that level of excitement and professionalism that attends to that obtains at these events. And
Mm-hmm.
if I say 10 relays as an example, don't beat me over the head because that is the standard by which
Mm-hmm.
other relay events in this hemisphere are, are,
Mhm.
are judged.
Mhm.
You know, when you are doing something for 125, 130 years, God forbid, you must know what you're doing.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's
Yeah,
right. As it
yeah,
becomes
yeah,
repetitive.
absolutely, yes. And so I also, John and Trevor, want to piggyback on something else that my principal Shawn noted,
Mm-hmm.
because for years, looking at and observing the demography of the tri-state area, the demographic of the tri-state area, which is a predominantly Caribbean enclave.
Mm-hmm.
if you were to ask me, speaking as a politician, I would say that the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, as the tri-state area, could be easily referred to as the 16th CARICOM state
Yes.
because
Yes.
of the quality and quantity of Jamaicans, Caribbean nationals who call the tri-state area home.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when you understand the kind of paradigm that sports plays in the life and livelihood of Caribbean nationals,
Mm-hmm.
I lift my hat and toast Shawn every day that he mentions the next gen New York invitational relays because this should have been happening 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Every high school in the tri-state area has Jamaican Caribbean student connection,
Mm-hmm.
and they do well at the sports, be it soccer, basketball, and no track and field.
Mm-hmm.
A school down in Brooklyn, for example, Boys and Girls High, we know the history of their sports
Mm-hmm.
uh, that the thread in the success of their sports is the Caribbean contingent and the Caribbean population in Brooklyn
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and
True.
Mount Vernon no less. And so this meet that we're doing is not dependent on the participation of the Jamaican high schools. That, in my view, and Shawn will bear me out, is just the icing on the cake.
Mm-hmm.
This meet will stand on
Mm-hmm.
its own based on the level of support and participation from the schools in the tri-state area that have
Mm-hmm.
that Caribbean know-how.
Yes,
So
sir.
our entries closed now for the meet?
No, not totally. We had what we call a soft closing date of March 31. And so we are still going through and inviting and accepting invitations because what it is it's, you want to give the kids really a chance to see where they are preparation wise
Mm-hmm.
before they go down to pen relays where there's no room for error
Ah,
Right.
yes.
at the pen relays. And so our meet will give them that kind of a know-how and to see where they are technically and otherwise.
Yes.
And so
Now,
we're blessed to have 5 schools out of Jamaica coming out fresh from the 25 championships, which of course Shawn noted earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We're blessed to have the presence of and the participation of teams St. Elizabeth Technical, Homewood, which finished third in the girls last weekend. Veer Technical finished down the field. Belfield, one of the newest schools, but doing well. And out of Montego Bay, Herbert Morrison Technical. Those 5 schools will be the toast of our inaugural presentation of the New York Next Gen Invitational Relays at the Memorial Field on Mount Vernon, Saturday, April 19.
because that's a question I was going to ask, that some of the top Jamaican high school athletes are to be invited to run in the inaugural Grand Slam track meet
Yes,
this weekend.
yes,
There's also Carifta Games,
right,
10 relays in April.
right.
In addition, the East Coast Invitational Showcase in Maryland.
Absolutely.
So the question was going to be, what is the expectation of the premier high school athletes coming out of Jamaica?
Expectation as in numbers or
Yeah, yes,
yes, yes.
yes.
Um, uh, so to be clear, and Shawn can back me up here, upwards of 20 schools come from Jamaica to the Penn Relays annually
Mm-hmm.
at a bare minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And so under any circumstance they'll be coming. what we have asked, what we have said is, hey, we blanket the invitation, first come, first serve, and say if you're coming to the pen relays and you want an extra run before you get down to Philadelphia, here is
Correct.
here is a platform for you in New York. And so there is no ultimatum, if that's the word. There is no hit or miss. There is no penalty. There is no ill will. There's no animosity. If you want to come. However, what Next Gen has done to ease the quote unquote pressure, so to speak, we have extended the invitation to 5 schools. And what does that mean? We are providing for those
Okay.
5 schools.
Right.
Anybody else who wants to come, they're quote unquote on their own, meaning they come into New York, they find their accommodation, they find a way to the stadium, they find a way from New York to Philadelphia, where they would have been going anyway. The 5 schools I named earlier, we are responsible for the New York leg of their of their pen relay program 5, and it's just 5 in year 1 because of course logistics resources are going to be scarce and limited, and so we want to stay within the confines of what we can deliver.
And this is a childbirth year.
The difficult year.
Yes, John.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, man. That's childbirth here, boy. But we have an
No,
opportunity that this will continue.
what about the wider Caribbean?
That is a year 2, year 3 scenario, John, and I don't want to be too premature, but as again, it's an open wide invite. So if you're coming to the pen relays and you have an extra day or 2 where you want to come into New York and be a part of the Next Gen relays, we welcome you. Yeah, we welcome you.
Okay, what about the local high schools now around the area? Have you been able to get them to register for this event?
Well, for on that part, I'll say that, Aubrey, that so far we have a platform, I said, that is doing the work for inviting these schools.
Right.
And so far, we have expressed interest of 25 schools from local area.
Right.
And so if we had the 25 schools to the 5 conference, that's 30 schools we are looking at for this first time. Now, the real question that we got to push now for them to complete their registration in terms of athletes for different events and all that. So, and go ahead.
Yeah. And just for full disclosure, Shawn, Trevor, John, the platform we're using has 400 schools across the tri-state that the invite was extended to. Yeah, 400 schools. Now bear in mind that this is a new event on their calendar.
Right.
So we understand what it will take to shift around and to fit in a new event like this into your schedule for the first time. And so we are understanding whether, and this is why we did a soft closing date of March 31st, and we can still do April 5, I think, for an extended period, because coaches need to see and to understand where it's at. They may not want to run their full team because it's a lot of work. As John alluded to a while ago, after championships comes the Grand Slam, comes the Carifta, then Next Gen New York, then the Penn Relays, and then the East Coast. You're talking about athletes who are 18 years and under, still in high school, with a tremendous amount of academics to concentrate on, because as soon as the season finished, well, as soon as April or mid-May comes around, it's exams,
Hmm.
and so and
And
so and, and,
and
and so you understand what the challenge can be.
coaches have to manage their youngsters,
Oh, absolutely.
at this stage,
Yes,
you don't
yes,
want to overwork them.
yes.
Correct.
Because even beyond that, you have the Jamaica Junior Track and Field
Yes,
Championships coming
yes,
up.
yes,
you know,
yes, yes.
what are the events on the program? Let's talk about those.
Yeah, we have the traditional relays, the 4x1, the sprints, 4x2, 4x4, and 4x800 meters. Now, remember, these are all high schools. And so what we're saying is that high schools, age notwithstanding. So if you have a 14-year-old who is running at the level to make the relay team, bring him in. But of course, it is capped at the high school, which is a 17, 18 year old cap thing. So
Hmm.
it's not age limited.
Okay.
It's more age quality, equality. And
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
feel you can
It's
compete,
more talent. It's more talent inspired.
yes.
So
Next generation. Next generation.
a 4x4 team coming out of Veer Technical in Jamaica, let's say. One lady may be class one, two maybe class two, and one maybe class three,
Hmm.
providing that they are running at the level to make a competitive team when they get in.
Hmm.
So 4x1, 4x4, 4x2, 4x8. And then we have the invitational and what we call the flat or the individual events in there as well too. 100 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, the 2 mile for men, which is the 3,000 meters, and the 1 mile for ladies, which is the 1,500 meters.
Hmm.
We have preliminaries. The morning session will be what we call preliminaries heats. At midday, 1 o'clock, we have the opening ceremonies, and our athletes will hear welcoming remarks and welcoming address from the mayor of Mount Vernon, um, Her Worship. Sean, catch me up on the I think Mayor Patterson, I think her name
Yeah,
is.
Mayor, yeah, her name is, yeah, Mayor Pat is the
Right,
name.
right,
Yeah.
right.
And we have
Our
the concept coming in, Jamaica concept, she'll be giving her,
Yes.
yeah,
Our
the few minutes.
our delightful Consul General,
Mm-hmm.
Honorable Alcian Roach, will also address Alcian Wilson, my apologies, will also address the gathering.
Hmm.
Right.
And of course, we couldn't do without having some connectivity and connection with the Union of Jamaican Alumni Associations, UJA,
Hmm.
You there.
and President Donovan Wilson will also address the event in his dual or triple capacity as union president,
Yes.
as part of the next gen stakeholder environment, and also a former a student and past president of St. Elizabeth Technical High School States, who was one of the 5 teams participating this year in the inaugural run.
So let me ask you, man. You have been an old people race?
Yes, 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 we have that. We were part of our dance. We call them Aubrey.
Yes,
Over 50
the
masters, right?
the novelty, yeah, the novelty component, which is to give the quote unquote the fun experience.
Yeah.
We have put in there a race for masters and sub-masters, 50 years and older.
Mm.
And
So
we have,
Now, you mentioned individual events,
yeah,
Aubrey.
yes,
Um, are the individual events limited to how many
yes,
athletes from a school can enter?
absolutely, absolutely. Because of logistics and time, we are saying no more than 3 athletes per school per individual event.
Okay.
Yes, yes. And we are saying no more than one relay team per school per event because it's a standard quarter mile track going one time around, and
Mm-hmm.
it carries 8 lanes.
Okay.
Okay.
It carries 8 lanes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, and so if we have full house in each preliminary, that's 3 8 24, and so the top 8 will advance to the championship event in the
Mhm.
afternoon segment of the program.
Mhm.
Yeah, to be
And,
followed by a medal ceremony.
and as you
Mhm.
mentioned, it's not you'll have preliminaries and finals. It's not a time kind of thing.
There
Very
are
fastest time.
yes, there are one or two events, and we looked at the schedule carefully. We listened to some of the coaches and even the management at the stadium. Some coaches are averse to having their athletes do multiple rounds
Mm,
with multiple events because, as you know, John, an athlete who's a sprinter, who's a 100-meter runner, may also be asked to double in the 200 meters.
right?
A good 200-meter athlete may ask to may be asked to double in the 400 meters relay. A good quarter miler can give you a good 800 meters.
Mm-hmm.
And, and
The 100-meter man can run the 4x4 too.
Correct.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
correct. Correct.
And so when we look at the program and look at no, it's a 1 day festival, and so load factor becomes crucial for the coaches. So what we're saying is that you can you well no, the coaches say not all the races should be heats and finals.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have put in a couple timed finals where there are one or two heats, and those events will become time finals to again to ease the pressure on athletes who may be asked to double given the program given a 1 day schedule. So yes, to your question, there are some events that will be time finals, and well, of course, we go with the traditional ceremony where first, second, and third in the individual events gets a medal, gold, silver, bronze, and we're only awarding relay winners only with gold medals on the day, and
Have you
it's
have
traditional.
you gone outside of the five boroughs then, high schools? Like say, have you gone into like New Jersey then to invite high schools?
Yes, man. That list of 400 high schools are from the tri-state area.
And
Oh,
outside.
okay, okay.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
Now we don't want to sit here and be too ambitious and be overly ambitious. But it's an open invitation. So if a school from Maryland or Delaware or Virginia wants to come, be our guest.
Mm-hmm.
Be our guest. Yeah. And we have coaches and close associates in those areas who have seen the promotion, heard what's happening, and have called in to ask how and where and why. And so we're waiting for a timely response. But of course, as you know, we have to close and do the heat and do the heats and the draw prior to coming to the stadium on Saturday morning, April 19th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
No, we just completed another track and field high school championships in Jamaica,
yes.
and it was a rift with false starts.
My goodness.
Um,
Yes.
Wow.
and part of the discussion is that it could be the equipment.
Yes, yes,
How are we going to? Is it? And I know this is an area that might be difficult to manage
right.
because when you say set, some people
Yeah.
think you mean go.
Well,
Um,
they're trying to anticipate the gun. The gun.
yeah.
The reaction time they're talking about right now.
John and Trevor, interestingly enough, Shawn and I had an off-camera discussion last Saturday, while the meet was in its final days and hours, and we came to the consensus that the quality and quantity of discrepancies that surfaced during the the staging of the 25th track and the 2025 track and field champs in Jamaica could be attributed to a number of situations. Not to exclude the new surface that was laid down and was being run on competitively for the first time at championships. If I may reference one of the coaches, Corey Bennett, who I think coached Calabar and coached Heidel.
Mm-hmm.
He said, and I hope I'm paraphrasing him carefully and correctly. It was the worst boys champs in recent memory. Um, um, Backgrounded by the number of false starts. But here is where I will jump to, John. When you have a championships like this, where high schools are involved, youngsters are involved at every level, you have 12 and under, 14 and under, 16 and under, and over 16. When you don't have the best facility to train on, it leads itself to these kind of challenges and misunderstandings. When you give an athlete as junior as 12 years old the kind of equipment to start, where every ounce of rocking or shaking translates into movement for the technology that they are not used to,
Mm-hmm.
without proper initiation, you will the level of discrepancies you see in the false starts will bear itself out. And as the coach mentioned in his perspective on what happened, it's not that the time the starters are not good or competent. Not all of them are. Some are bad and should not have been there because they weren't trained on the technology, as well as the technology itself should not have been used. But then you can't be saying to the world that your meat is world standard, your meat is A certified, without the attendant headaches and pains and as we see at championships.
But,
Mm-hmm.
but Ari,
Which begs the question, gentlemen, have we have we are we forgetting what the championships should be and is all about?
and let me add that what the championship should be all about from my perspective, and I've thought about it. Remember, these are kids that are still developing and learning their craft. And biologically, by law, they say that our kids develop at the age, or brain develop at 25.
Go.
And so I am saying that it should be more of development in terms of the rules and regulations of it. And John and Trevor, I spoke to a coach, and he said to me, the champ has become a win at all costs.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
championship has become a win at all costs. So it is who know who have connections, and who can get the results, and who can get the blind, and all that. I'm saying, when a champ become that way,
Mhm. Mhm.
where is the development of our athlete? Because I can stand to be corrected from August to before champion, that only made 10,000 kids learning their trade.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not saying not to be competitive and not try to win, but the focus from my perspective is to make sure these kids learn their craft, so we can have more Australian Fraser, more youth game boards, Shane Thompson. I thought we need more growth. And that's where I am at total loss. Maybe you got things clarified. I don't know. It's my point still.
Because Sean, John, Trevor, one has to also look at the results coming out of championships. Are our athletes running faster, younger,
Correct.
or is the surface that they're running on that more accommodating to the technology that is being imparted from the coaches who must now be certified through a college course, a degree program at say GC Foster. We know that the college is turning out coaches at a high level,
Mm-hmm.
but when you have a 15-year-old running 10.2 or a 14-year running 10.3, I mean, do you celebrate or do you scratch your head and wonder what is happening?
Well, I tell you, over the years, you have seen this, and so often when they run that fast, that early,
Yes.
they
Yeah.
don't pan out
That-
Yes. Yes,
at
sir.
the seeder level.
My
Yes,
goodness.
sir. Correct.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
Correct.
and I guess it's a cycle
yeah,
of
yeah.
how things work.
Mm,
Yeah.
You know,
mm.
But
um,
But what the results of this latest championships is a wake up call for the administrators, and you heard Corey ask for the intervention and the involvement in a more organized way of the Jamaica Administrative Athletic Association,
three
J3As.
years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because in his view, some things are amiss.
Well, I listened to an interview with Morris Wilson, and Morris feels that the officials
Mm,
might have been a little more, I don't want to say lenient,
right, right.
but dealing with 12 and 13-year-olds, they could be more lenient in
Oh,
the cause.
but
You,
yeah,
you know,
is it-
and maybe
and
school them, coach them,
yeah, right. And then John, that's where now the apples become separated from the orange. Because if you're saying to the world that your championships is at the level of a junior Olympics, you can't have part A and part B. I'm using different standards and of measurement.
hmm hmm
And so that's where I think the challenge will come.
yeah.
It's going to be a championships that is based on providing recreation for schools, or is it going to be a championship that the world will gravitate to with the attendant hoopla and ceremony?
Just going back to the relays, the um, Gen relays coming up on April 19.
Yes.
What about field events? Is there are there
Yeah.
are there field events?
Yes, there are field events, John, and again, we are being cautious and by resource and time, and so we have the Sean. We have hurdles. We have the
hurdles.
sprint
We got
hurdles in
hurdles. We got
there.
high jump. We got
We
some
have
long
high
jump.
jump and we have some long jump.
Right.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
we are staying away from the throws for in year one again
Yeah.
because of logistics and everything. You see, you want to leave some room, in my view. That's how I am. I want to leave some room for improvement for next year.
Mm.
Yeah,
So high jump, long jump,
and hurdles.
and hurdles.
Yes,
Yeah.
and hurdles.
The 110 are for on both.
Yeah. 110 men, 110 boys and 100 girls.
Okay, no 400.
No 400. Do we have the 400?
Okay.
No, I no.
No,
No,
no.
no, we put it in there for this year. Again, leaving ourselves some room for improvement next year.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. And Shawn mentioned in his earlier opening, the buzz that's around in the community. John, you know that the Penn Relays is a 3-day weekend carnival.
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody can take off from work for 3 days to go to Pennsylvania. They may go for one day. And
Mm-hmm.
when they go for that one day, then they're not seeing everything. Because as you know, they are now tinkering with the schedule where boys run one day, girls run the next day. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the following year, they're switching it up. Girls run, then boys run. And
Mm-hmm.
so here we are now looking at that and saying,
Mm-hmm.
we're giving you a glimpse, a dress rehearsal of sorts in the New York area where you can get everything in one day, packaged in one day, boys and girls. And so if you can't make the trek down to Pennsylvania, it's right in your backyard here in the New York area. Come out,
Mm-hmm.
support the cause.
And I suppose, what about tickets? Are tickets be purchased ahead of the meet?
Oh my goodness, yes.
Yes, we have that presently on Eventbrite. New York Next Generation event going Eventbrite, and you can purchase your tickets.
Mm.
The prices are $40 for a regular entrance, and we got our VIP section, which is $50 for VIP.
Unfortunately, the early bird special expired at the end of the
February.
end of February.
All right.
Right, right,
Okay.
right. So again, the site is www.nextgen-ny.com, and the Eventbrite icon and tag is there, the window. Once you click on that, it takes you to how to purchase tickets.
You
And
want to mention that triple W thing again, Aubrey?
Shawn,
But
it's www.nextgen-ny
No, C.com.
nyc.com. NY
so
or NY or NYC. Let me be clear.
It's
that's
NYC.
Okay. All right.
that's
No, next
www.nextgen.nyc.
nextgen dash nyc.com.
Oh, okay.
Right.
And next
Nextgen dash nyc.com.
next gen dash
Yes, yes,
NYC
yes, yes,
NYC.com. Yes,
dot
yes,
sir.
com.
yes. And folks who want to contact us for whatever the reason, they can drop us an email at Shawn, it's info.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So go ahead. You complete. You started.
Info at nextgen-ny.com. NYC. Where's my notes? Right. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
what about like medals now? Gold, silver, bronze?
Go,
How does
gold,
that?
gold, silver, bronze for first, second, third, and gold medals only for winners of relay events.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Um, I think we have basically covered most of the ground. I don't know if there's anything that Shawn want to add at this point.
I would just want Shawn to again just make mention of the full team of the directors of New York Next Gen Event Core, because we are the principals, and we bring to the table, John, over what, five fours, what, five times
Morning.
40, over 200 years of experience in
Hmm.
competitions at the high school level, business acumen, because Shawn himself is a New York area entrepreneur, having attended JC. I'm not sure what sport he played and to what level he played, but he also is an integral part of the presentation of the annual Jamaican Alumni Soccer Festival that happens in the Bronx and Yonkers every year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's really not new to the school sports arena,
Mm-hmm.
and you know I celebrate him because of others before him have thought about this kind of event, but never conceptualize it and put it on paper.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
and I like your thing about I said John Trevor that without a team,
yes,
I bring Aubrey who has experience in media, bring her experience in track and field events. I brought Carl Bennett, another founder who is involved in finance.
yeah. What
Who I
school?
get is
What school is called from?
Jamaica College, JC.
JC.
Um, who I get is
Uh,
he's from JC also, but he's in insurance business and also he has some legal mind in terms of policy and procedures.
right.
And I brought him a marketing girl. Listen, he went to Dunrab in high school, but this this young chap, Trevor and John, he has brought a different level of energy to the marketing, and he has shown us that boy what we are talking about marketing is a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because trust me, John, I'm up with the phone at night, and he just really knows how to put out information, and so I can't complain about the team that I have. I must say I'm grateful and thankful to have this team working with me in executing and bringing my dreams and fruition of this event live to New York, New York officials.
One question, something just kind of crossed. What about streaming the event? Is that part of the deal package?
Yes, we're going to be streaming events. We've also our media mix. We also are doing our videographer too. And also we did also a thing in the stadium, a jumbotron, where we'll be giving the fans the experience. We'll see the pictures, they go live, they give our sponsors some props and jumbotron, all that. So a lot of technology will be there. I think we got some radio stations coming in, Brother Gary, which, and we also have this TV company maker that's coming in too. So it will be broadcast live for sure. It will be coming on online radio for sure, and all that. And we are still looking to see if we can invite some of the media companies like maybe like um, ABC or NBC who would love to see track and field. Want to invite you so they can do some coverage for us too. So we're looking to expand, and also let me add, we have also gained some attraction in Jamaica. Uh, we have been doing some promotions from RFM. We got some promotions to my brother here, Army, to Lena, and we're looking to get more promotion to the Make Observer and all that. So we get
Right.
that buzz. The buzz is there, and the excitement and is there in terms of looking forward to this event. And that lastly, I must say I went to a little local spot in the Bronx just to meet a friend to pick up some flyers and banners to put up. And the member in the bar said, I will hear about this event. And they said, oh, I've been posting on my WhatsApp. I've been posting on my WhatsApp. And every time I go and I get phone calls, I'm getting more support. Because people they say, oh, maybe he can complete again 10 million. But I'm just holding my hands up for now, to the fence and making sure we execute this first year.
Mhm.
That, that-
Okay. Well,
Yes,
Shawn,
sir.
and Aubrey, thanks for taking the time to join us on John Sports Corner
sure.
this Wednesday evening,
Yes, sir.
and wish you much success from Saturday, April 19th
Yes, sir.
at Mount Vernon Memorial Center. And for the benefit of those who might be viewing this program, um, the location of Mount Vernon Memorial Stadium.
Correct. I want to say thank you, John and Trevor, for having us and giving us this airtime. And we really appreciate you both. And hopefully I can see you guys at the event too.
Mm-hmm.
But you're giving us that exposure.
Your tickets will be at will call, gentlemen.
Yes, sir. Will call. Let's figure it out.
What about the location, the address? You have that? Can mention it?
The address is Garden Street. It's 421 Garden Street, Mount Vernon.
Mm-hmm.
421 Garden Street, Mount Vernon. That's the address of the Memorial Stadium.
Right.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen. Much appreciated
Again.
exposure, and we look forward to seeing you and celebrating with us on this inaugural event.
Mm-hmm. And it starts at what, 8 o'clock?
8:30.
a.m.
8:30.
8:30 a.m.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll be there. Not at 8:30 a.m. though, Aubrey.
Yes, sir.
At my age.
Looking forward to seeing you in the house, John. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks
I
again.
will take at least one telephone number, please.
Shawn, give them your number, 929.
No, 917 574 0364. 917 574 0364.
And they can also reach me at 973
524 or 574?
No, 917 574
Okay.
0364.
Yeah.
and or 973 510 3148.
Say that again, Aubrey.
973 510 3148.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much.
And thank you.
Thanks again.
And certainly tell a friend about John's Sports Corner, because, we're trying to blow John's Sports Corner out of the
Ballpark.
airwaves.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. We sure do.
A pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Appreciate you again. Have a good night.